All souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Come on, Russell. My soul is welcome here. Get funky, get funky. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. I'm Heather Esthai, and I'm here with Reverend Deborah Phillips, who will be our speaker today. And it is my honor and privilege to welcome you in the name of all that is holy, all that is good, all that is sacred, and in the warm and loving spirit of this community, Spiritual Life Center. It is so good to see your smiling faces. And for those of you watching virtually, I can't see your smiling faces. However, I can feel your shining energy, and we all can feel it. Because when we show up, we bring our energy, we bring our spirit, and that's our contribution to the day. So whether you're here in person or virtually, you're important to this service today. And so I'm really glad that you came because, as we all know, and for those of you who are new, you need to know this, you're not here by accident, but by divine appointment. So it's awesome that you kept your appointment, and it'll be awesome when you turn off your cell phones. Remember that? Yeah. Please turn off your cell phones. Thank you.
That was like in the olden days.
Old days.
So as we move into our service, let's take a moment in prayer for gratitude that we can be together, that we have reopened, and that we are able to come and share our love in person, knowing that the Holy Spirit works through us in all kinds of amazing ways. And over this past year, there have been blessings, there have been sadness, but we are coming into a new way of being, and we are so very grateful for our musicians, for the people who make this all happen, for you to be here with us today. And we know that as this service moves through, we are one in spirit, one in love, one in joy, one in peace, and one in all. And so it is. Amen. And the Spiritual Life Center has a very specific mission, and let's say this together. We transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And the way we do this, the way that we bring this into action and create it out into the world really relies on the 5 unity principles. And of course, knowing these helps us understand what we teach and also helps us to explain to other people, what is that you guys do over there? So let's say these together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action.
Excellent. So for those of you who are brand new or fairly new to our community, we'd like to invite you somewhere. It's our Community Member Information Center session, and it's on Sunday, July 11th from 1 to 2:30. You'll find out there about this community, its history, what we believe in, who we are, and we'll get to know who you are. It'll be hosted by Reverend James and Sally Sion of our board, and so please consider coming. You'll get to understand the value of membership and stepping a little bit deeper into this community.
And we have a wonderful director of our youth and family ministry, Reverend Janee Marth, and she is here with the monthly update. Not the yearly, the monthly.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Janee, and I just bring the warmest welcome and hello from our youth ministry. We are excited about welcoming our kids back on Sundays. If you noticed, we have taken over the old conference room, and it's now our new youth ed room. And so we're just now starting to create that space, and we would really like to get the kids' input on what we put on those walls. And one of the things that came to my mind was them maybe doing some kind of a mural in there. And so I know we have a lot of artists in our community, and I see one right there. So I'm sure as this vision takes form, I'll be reaching out to get some help with that. But we're excited about them being a part of that space and creating something that's meaningful for them. Our YOU, our teens continue to meet on the fourth Friday of every month. We just met this last Friday, and we had a new teen join our group, so it's always exciting to get new members into our clan. We just love those kids. And Liam Lawson is our new officer for YOU, the region, Western region, and they're planning the fall. Yes, we're so proud of him. And they are already planning the fall rally, which is in November, and it looks like we're going to be able to do it at our normal retreat center, which is great news because we can welcome all the kids in. So that kind of leads into my next thing I wanted to talk to you about, because with that coming this fall, I was thinking that our jewelry sale would be a good thing to do again this fall. And I know a lot of you don't know what our jewelry sale is. A lot of you do. But what we did last year is we asked people to go through their old jewelry boxes, and if there was any jewelry that wasn't speaking to them anymore, that if they wanted to, they could donate it to the youth ed department, and then we turn around and we do a jewelry sale for the whole congregation. And it is so much fun and so exciting, and everyone leaves with a new treasure, and everyone is so happy. And honestly, we still have some jewelry that was collected before COVID because we were planning to do a sale for Mother's Day. So we still have jewelry, but we will welcome any new jewelry. I know Karen Drucker's doing a Clear Your Clutter workshop. So if any of you are looking to remove some clutter, remember us. And it's always fun, and it goes to such a great cause. And it looks like we might be sending 7 kids to Rally this year. So we are so excited about that. And the last thing I just wanted to mention is we do have a nursery position that's open, and you have to be 18 or older. So if anyone is interested, it is a paid position, or if you know of someone, please have them contact the church, or they can email me at youthed@slcworld.org. So thank you, everybody. I love you guys, and I so appreciate your support for our kids. Thank you.
Now, and speaking of filling positions, we also have a lot of volunteer positions open because we're just bringing everybody back.
Oh, is that a cue?
Well,
If you
may as well
want
be.
it.
Well, I'd like y'all to just turn your heads and look at this beautiful woman here in the corner, Christina, who is our PowerPoint pilot. She sits there and she moves the PowerPoints forward, keeping us on track with our announcements and our song lyrics and everything. Now, she would like to have a couple of Sundays off. So we're looking for a couple of other people that might be interested in doing that work, and it's really quite simple. All you have to do is focus, and you get to watch the service and just be in tune with us and just like move those things forward. So if that sounds like it might be calling to you, please email me at pmandella@slcworld.org, and that information is on our website. Thank you. I hope you'll come forward soon so Christina can have a day off.
Aw, poor Christina. Thanks, Paula. You know, we're trying to shorten the announcements, and we're no longer killing trees to give you bulletins every week. And so you still want to know that there are a lot of happenings, a lot of activities and things that you might want to get involved in. So the way that you figure it out is you go to our website, slcworld.org, or you go out into the courtyard, and there's a table that says happenings. That's your clue, happenings, and that'll have information about everything that's going on. And then you can go to the hub to actually sign up. So right now, I'd like for our Board of Trustees, any that are here, and our chaplains to stand, please. So our Board of Trustees are the wonderful people who help guide this community so that it thrives and is sustainable for the future. And so they wear many hats, and we're very appreciative of the work that they do. And then our chaplains are here to pray with you. Your joys, your sorrows, your mediums, whatever you got going, prayer is always helpful, as you'll hear from Deborah in a little while. And so please take advantage of their great prayer power out in the courtyard or in the sanctuary after the service.
Now, if you're with us for the very first time today or watching online for the very first time, there's ways to learn how to be connected. In the sanctuary, we're going to ask you to raise your hand in just a moment. But if you go online to our website, there is a welcome card that you can fill out, and then you will get information. If you fill it out here in the sanctuary, you can take it out to the welcome table, and they will give you a gift. So, yeah, and a very warm welcome as well.
I'm always hoping they're giving out toasters when we get there, but
I don't think we've done one toaster
happened.
yet.
Not one toaster. Okay, so now I'm going to ask if there are any new people. Be brave and raise your hand. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. We've got a couple of them here. And for those of you at home, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you too. Yeah. You'll be getting a purple ribbon, and if you would please wear that over your heart so we can welcome you appropriately and make sure that you feel comfortable being with this wacky group that's Spiritual Life Center. So now with that, let's all stand, greet our newcomers and each other.
We invite you to go ahead and take your seat. We're going to do something a little bit different today.
Yes, we are. We're having a beautiful go within, breathe out, very introspective message and all the music that goes along with it today. So we invite you to just settle back, close your eyes, and take in this beautiful song.
Settle back, close your eyes, free your mind, just be. Watch your breath it takes you out to sea. God is here, loving you. Hear the ocean roar. Go within, let peace bring you home once more. Let your thoughts drift away. You don't need them here. You are in a quiet place where trust replaces fear. Feel the beating of your heart. Feel the air upon your skin. Listen to the silence. God is calling. Go
Now I invite you to speak our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And settle in. Settle into your chair. Become present. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe deeper in and breathe out. I know you're here with me, so I breathe. If you feel like joining me, please do. I am part of one, and one is everything, and everything is all there is, and all there is God. Together, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe deeper in and breathe out. I know you're here with me, so I breathe. I am part of one, and one is everything, and everything is all there is, and all there is God. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe deeper in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
As we move into this time of meditation, let's continue breathing together. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in the vibration of that beautiful chant. Thousands of prayers have been prayed in this very room. Right where you are is holy ground. Breathe in the sacredness of this moment. Breathing in and breathing out. With each breath, softening With each breath, relaxing into the allness of God. Feel the warm embrace of your Creator, your God, soft as angels' wings, holding you, supporting you, loving you. You are so loved. You don't even breathe yourself. God is breathing you in every moment. God is the aliveness within you. Every cell alive with love. There's nothing you have to do. It doesn't matter what you've done. You are God's beloved. Breathe that in, deep into your belly. You are God's beloved. You're the prayer that God prays. God lives and loves as you, through you. And we are ready to do this consciously, God. We slow down. We give ourselves time to stop, to commune with you. We take time in the silence. We open our hearts. We open our minds. We open our very souls to meet you, to feel you. Awaken us, God. Awaken us to all that we are, to all that you are. As we take a moment in the silence, feel the God of your being rising to meet you in the sweet love of this moment. In union with God, every word, every act is a prayer. Your life is a prayer. As we go forth, dear God, we remember who we are. We remember that our eyes are your eyes, that our ears are your ears, that our words are your words, that our mind is your mind, and our heart is your heart. Our hands are your hands, and our feet are your feet. In every face I see the face of God. Here we are, God. Love through us. May we be your living prayer.
You'll never be the sun turning in the sky, and you won't be the moon above us on a moonlit night, and you won't be the stars in heaven, although they burn so bright. But even on the deepest ocean, you will be the light. You may not always shine as you go barefoot over stone. You may be so long together, or you might walk alone. You won't find that love comes easy, but love is always right. So even when the dark clouds gather, you will be the light. And if you lose that part inside, when love turns around on you, leaving the past behind, it's knowing you'll do what you always do, holding you blind, keeping you true. You'll never be the sun turning in the sky, and you won't be the moon above us on a moonlit night. You won't be the stars in heaven, although they burn so bright. But even on the deepest ocean, you will be the light. You will be the light. You will be the light.
Yeah, we always thank the musicians, but this was a very special request, this particular song, so thank the three of you so much. And Janee has gone to the youth department, but thank you for Janee for the meditation, and thanking you in spirit. I'm really, really thrilled to see everybody here together and have you all together in one place. It is so nice. Because we have been trying to contact you about your car warranty. See a greeter. If there's anybody in here who hasn't gotten that call, you're really special. So over the past few weeks, Reverend James has been talking about prayer, and his main ideas are what the purpose of prayer is, which is not to change the mind of God or what happens in the world. That's one of them. Another is that authentic desire is necessary for prayer to be effective. And the other one is that there are 3 steps, is what we talked about last week, 3 steps for demonstration or materialization of the desire: conceive, believe, and then achieve. But how do we do all of this? Well, we pray, right? But how do we pray? Well, we sit down and talk to God. But there might be a catch to that, because we are taught that every thought, word, and action is a prayer, which means I think we're praying all the time. And when you think about that, that's a really huge statement, and there's a huge responsibility. Yike. I mean, if every single thing I do and think is a prayer, how do I stay responsible for that, and how do I stay conscious of that? Well, we'll talk about that. But I've had so many conversations, even here in the courtyard, where people are saying, I know I shouldn't feel this way, but blah, 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 or I know I shouldn't say this, but, and then they say it, because we're human, and that's what's going to happen. So this is about finding ways for us to work through this and learn how to pray and be walking prayers in a really constructive way. So let's take the pressure off and step back for a moment and ask this question. What is prayer? What is it? Well, the simplistic answer is it's talking to God, right? And often when we are talking to God, what we're really doing is asking for something, And because it's usually conceived as asking for something, then it is, of course, a conscious act. We sit down, we get quiet, or maybe we're kind of all wound up and we are yelling at God. But what if we simplify it even more? What if we say that our prayer is our conscious interaction with Spirit or God or the divine? Except, wait, not every one of our thoughts, words, or actions are conscious. Right? So it follows that that we engage in conscious and unconscious spiritual interaction all the time. One of those is full of awareness. The other, not so much. And both carry energy and intent, but awareness is lacking in the second one. So what do? This means that much of the time we don't know that we are praying or what we are praying for. We just know that we're out there being. And so there are ways to become more conscious, more aware of our interaction with the unseen. And I love thinking of it as the unseen, because whatever comes through is coming from the unseen, not the insane. Okay, let's all calm down. All right, the unseen, and we sometimes struggle with that because the unseen, we can't see it, so it's not real to us. The material world is right in our face, and it's real to us, and a lot of times we can't see past that. So we work on our mental and emotional states to become aware of what thoughts and emotions and beliefs are running us, so we can shift that dynamic and come into alignment with the beautiful, unseen grace that works in and through each one of us at all times. Now, we do this primarily by changing our words. And yeah, sometimes that feels like we're just playing mind games with ourselves. Just like we're just, if I just change this word, I'm going to change it, and, things will be better. In Teach Us to Pray, it's a book by Charles and Cora Fillmore, they offer a wonderful explanation of exactly what our methods do. And here's what they said. There is an idea quite prevalent in the public mind that we teach a system of thought and word juggling. that anyone, anywhere can have any and everything by merely repeating over and over certain magic words. It is true that words have magic in them, and very often the result of the mental imagery evoked by them is so startling as to suggest Aladdin and his lamp. However, a comprehension of the whole philosophy reveals a well-balanced set of principles upon which it rests. This passage goes on to talk about denial and affirmation, that process that we have of working through our prayer, which is to help change our thinking about something. But the thing that I like the most about this quote is the part about having a comprehension of the whole philosophy that rests on a balanced set of principles. Unity, New Thought, is not a religion. And Dr. Ernest Holmes, who started religious science, called it a spiritual system, and I love that. Because when you think of this as a system, it's something that we can learn. And all the pressure is off, all the expectations go away. They can be released. There are those who will still stress about it. Oh, I'm not learning it fast enough, and I'm not learning it well enough because, well, we're humans and that's what we do. But this is a self-directed, self-timed process. And you get to take all the time you need to work out your own system of using the system. Sort of systematic there. But let's get back to prayer. If we go with the idea that prayer is simply our interaction with one source, we start to understand why everything we do is a prayer. One thing we do know from psychology is that what we really want or need is very often kept in our subconscious or our unconscious because we're so busy trying to fit in, do what we're supposed to do, get people to like us, not get in trouble. I mean, that list goes on forever. But when the Fillmores say prayer is the soul's sincere desire, uttered or unexpressed, they're correct because all of that is in play all the time. So becoming aware of what we were sending out is an important endeavor. This is also where we can get ourselves all tied up into knots about how we pray, and oh my goodness, what if I am thinking the wrong thing when I pray? I've had people come to me, it's like, I've had these bad thoughts. Is something horrible going to happen? No. So how do I pray? What do I say? What if I don't do it right? I'm sure no one in this room has ever thought any of that, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So consider this question, though. What is it that every religion on this planet has in common? It is prayer. You're right. Interaction with one source. Each one of them has their own method. Each one has its own belief. Each one is different, and yet they're all the same in that they engage in intentional spiritual interaction, and all prayers are effective. Our spiritual system says that our prayers are most effective when we affirm that positive action is manifesting. We don't need to explain it all to God. We trust that all is well. Sometimes. One of the biggest, well, that's what we're supposed to do, right? But one of the biggest differences in our system is that we do not ask God for favors. Our work is not focused on changing the outside world. The focus is inner change, inner awareness. No matter how much trouble you are having with the external world, nothing will change until you change your perception of what is happening. We cannot stop volcanoes from erupting. We cannot stop earthquakes from quaking. These things happen in this material world. And our experiences of them are completely dependent on how we perceive them. If you hear about an earthquake and all the destruction, you can shift into that tragedy victim, ain't it awful kind of thinking, or you can view the situation with compassion by affirming the safety and recovery for those in the affected area. You cannot take the earthquake away. You cannot get in the time machine and go back and prevent the earthquake. But you can add uplifting energy by engaging in intentional spiritual interaction at the highest level you can. In short, pray for them. Pray for yourself. This, of course, is the easy part. Getting quiet, becoming intentional about your thoughts and desires, praying for those you love and those who are driving you bonkers is doable when you have the space and time to go be quiet and go within. And sure, you might have some times where you do that and you can't quite get with it and you feel a little restless. And it didn't really feel like one of those great moments, but it is still intentional spiritual interaction, prayer. So then you step out the door and you go out there. Out there carries distractions, it carries energies, ideas, people, noise, activity coming at us from all different directions. And our awareness dwindles to simply getting through the line in the grocery store or getting around that gardening truck that has that lawnmower that's just about ready to come out and get right on your hood. It is obvious that most of us cannot be fully aware and intentional all the time. We just can't do it. So what do? We get all prayed up. Now, I hadn't thought in terms of getting all prayed up for a very long time until just a couple of days ago, somebody said to me that they thought, you know what, I need to start getting prayed up before I go to work. And I went, okay. And so I got to thinking about that. I was working on this talk. And I used to think that getting all prayed up meant sitting and praying and praying and praying to the point where you couldn't pray anymore and you built up so much prayer energy that nothing could ruffle your feathers. It was like filling up your tank, right? And then I would think, because I ask these kinds of questions, how many miles do you get per prayer? It's not miles per hour, it's MPP, miles per prayer. And did that mileage depend on how hard you prayed, how long you prayed, what you were wearing, how much sugar you had for breakfast? The idea of getting prayed up stayed with me for several days, as I said. And when I started to put this talk together, it finally came to me what being prayed up really is. It is knowing that every encounter is a spiritual interaction. If we go with the premise that prayer is an intentional interaction with one source, then we have a way to become conscious or aware of our actions and words to make it more intentional. The way to do this is to cultivate the idea, the belief that every thought, word, action is always interaction with spirit, no matter how it is manifesting. So when you run into someone who is difficult, say that cashier who really hates their job and is letting everybody know it, you realize that even then it is interaction with the one source. You look a little behind it, and there is the interaction with source. Just because it isn't completely pleasurable to you doesn't mean it's not spiritual. In fact, it's impossible for it to not be spiritual from spirit because everything comes from the unseen to the seen. I had a mentor when I was brand new to Unity. I was in my mid-20s, so that's a couple of weeks ago. He was deeply spiritual and very evolved, and one day I was talking to him about something, and he said, Deborah, everyone is a child of God. It's just that some of them manifest as, well, I can't say the word up here, but he meant not very nice people. And that stayed with me because what he taught me was that no matter how something or someone is manifesting, behind that, the interaction is still and always has a spiritual aspect to it. Really wonderful, deeply moving interactions can be tiny, tiny movements in your life that will sustain and support you. Now, I will say, too, that there are times that keep in mind that little tiny, what we would call negative moments also have that same impact. But I'm going to talk about the positive one. So last week we said farewell to Paul, our bassist. He's moving to Tennessee. And I don't know Paul very well. Over the years he's been with us, I've probably had maybe 3 conversations with him just because of the dynamics of how we all are here. And yet I have a heart connection with Paul that I am going to deeply, deeply miss. It sounds simple and maybe a little bit silly, but ours was one of very simple, tiny movements. He sat right in front of me. So I usually, when the chairs were straight, I would sit there and Paul would be almost exactly in front of me. And I loved to watch him when we got to the end of the welcomes, or the opening song, and that last part, he would just be rocking out, and I'd be like all there with him and everything. And it was amazing. But there was another thing. When I would come up to the platform to do the meditation, I would come up the step right in front of him. And it wasn't very crowded, but every single time he'd be sitting there and I would put my foot up here and he would move his toe in. It was such a minuscule thing. But he did that. He didn't have to, but he did it. And we never talked about it until the last day he was here last week. He knew he was doing it. I don't know why he was doing it, but he did. And what I never told him was in that small movement, I felt more heard and more seen than I can describe. It was one of the things I look forward to coming back to. Okay, happy Tennessee, right? I was really looking forward to coming back to that interaction because it was so meaningful to me. And again, we didn't know each other. We rarely spoke. Yet there was that teeny moment when we were in the unseen together, and the connection, that respect, will always live in my heart. Paul was not consciously praying for me. He was just being Paul. But he was spiritually interacting with me, and sometimes when I wasn't feeling very pippy, that movement said, "You can do this." So don't discount the tiny things. Was this dance with Paul conscious or unconscious? It was really a bit of both, wasn't it? We were both in a rarefied atmosphere and consciously doing our jobs. Yet there was an unconscious aspect to it as well. And in this sense, each of us became a prayer, a full spiritual interaction that took less than a second. So what if we started approaching life from the idea that we are constantly manifesting out of the unseen, as is everything else in the material plane, and then all that interaction is interaction with Spirit, God, the one source, first energy. What if we thought that? Rather than thinking that the only time that you are praying, the only time you are filling yourself up, is when you are intentionally quiet and focused. What if you became aware that every single interaction you have is spiritual, connected with the one, rather than working really hard to see the Christ in the person who just took your parking spot? You can proclaim it to be an intentional spiritual interaction and allow it to just be. Now, please don't think that intentional, conscious prayer is not necessary. It is. Both of these are very necessary. Pretend like you have, a tall glass of iced tea. There's ice all the way to the top, and then you add something to it, like lemon or sugar. Now, if you want to stir that up, you can put your finger in and you touch the top of the ice cubes and you kind of swirl it around a little bit. Not much happens. Or you can get a long spoon and reach deeply into the liquid and combine the tea and sugar fully and completely. Prayer is the tool we use to evoke a fuller, more complete experience with the divine, to mix it up with God, so to speak. When you take the time to go within, to become quiet, to listen, to fly free for a time, you can then go out into the world stronger and more aware. Now, there are 2 things I would like to leave with you today. The first one, The first one is that when you are engaging in intentional prayer, which I am calling intentional spiritual interaction, or when you're out in the world focusing, again, on intentional spiritual interaction, remember to connect with your heart and remember to breathe. Our breath is how we interact with the world. It's how we connect. We are always breathing the world in and out, in and out. And when we become aware of our breath and become intentional, that is when our prayers sprout wings and raise our consciousness to the very highest of heights. The second is that each of you is a walking prayer. Each one of us is. Each of us decides what kind of prayer we want to be. We decide this by our word, and when we breathe deeply from within our hearts, our prayer selves take wings and we soar in the companionship with the divine. It's never going to be perfect, just as the song says. You will never be the sun burning in the sky. You won't be the moon above us on a moonlit night. You won't be the stars in heaven, though they burn so bright. But even on the darkest ocean, you will always be the light. May you fly on the wings of prayer as you manifest your deepest and most heartfelt desires. And so it is. Next week, Reverend James will be back, and we're starting a new series, and his talk title is Mastering Your Freedom. That will be 4th of July as well. So I've got a feeling, Paula, is it possible our colors are going to be red, white, and blue on the July 4th?
Red, white, and denim.
Red, white, and denim. That's a whole different thing. And now you have an opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. If you are online, you can text, well, you can do it in here too. Text SLC Love at 44321. You can also go to our website and click on donate and donate that way. You can also mail it in if you want. There's just so many ways to share. And also, if you are online and you want to spread this message, click on like, comment, share, or subscribe, and that'll help keep the message going. For those of us here and also online, let us say our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there. When I let go of my control, I find what truly satisfies my soul. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there, Spirit hears and answers every single prayer. Spirit meets me there, Spirit meets me there, in the stillness, Spirit meets me there, Spirit the stillness, Spirit meets me there.
And so we give thanks for these offerings, the offerings of substance, the offerings of the prayers in the prayer box that will be sent to Silent Unity and prayed for over for 30 days. And we know that all that everyone shares and all that we receive is blessed 100 times over, and that we are prosperous, abundant, filled with joy and love and light. And so it is. And let us say our prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am. And all is well. Let's not say our let there be peace, let's sing it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
And may the joys of the world go with you. Blessings.